what's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here. And once again, we are at the Chickenhouse. So this is your first time at the Chickenhouse, isn't it? You've been to Chickenhouse before? Yeah. That's right, we did the round table here, didn't we? Yeah. I forgot about that. Forgot all about that, sweetie.
I'm never invited to these things.
This guy's never invited to the Chickenhouse. This is your first time at Chickenhouse too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
My lands. Ian Hill, you guys remember him from... You did round table?
The special.
The special. Yeah, he did the music special with us. Didn't you do another one with us?
Did I?
That's how like Hollywood I am right now. I'm just
I actually don't recall
there's
myself
so
either.
many shows that we do.
Yeah, we just can't keep up with what kind of projects we're working on and where we're at.
Where the fuck is Cheney at? That's what I want to know. Like, this guy has blown us off at least 3 times now.
His family member did it last time. Who was it?
Teddy Watts. Yeah, Teddy Watts.
That's
Good friend of ours. Now, they're related?
I think so.
Alright, I did not know that. Son of a bitch. That's also how unprofessional I am. I don't even care about my cast. I'll be honest with you. Like, literally, I just sign the checks and then send them on their way, and then, you know, I'm like, hey, make sure you're back next week. And that's it. That's all I say.
Yeah, you know,
4 children, too. I treat them the same way.
As long as our shows are getting hundreds of thousands.
That's it. Just hundreds of thousands. Once we're balling out of control and those chicks keep coming, we'll keep going. We're not happy, but we'll keep doing it. So, but yes, thank you guys for being here. And yeah, you know, we always try to do it big here. So we got a couple movies. Good friend of the show, 13th Wolfman. This has been a long time ago, actually. I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm just now getting around to it. But he threw a list at me. He's like, I think you should review these movies. And I know a Deadly Blessing was on there. We did that. I did that like, shortly after he threw that at me. But then he also had Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I know you guys can't see that at home, but this is Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. And yeah, and I just now got around to getting this. In fact, I couldn't find. I tried to get away with watching it on Hulu or Crackle or even YouTube. Couldn't find it on those. I'm not one to illegally download.
Oh, me neither. Of course.
No one here.
I would never use it ever.
But no, I want a copy of it. I heard it was really good. And I knew I wouldn't be disappointed. But like on Amazon, it was like $45 for a used copy of the DVD. Now it was like a 3-disc special edition, but still, yeah, $45.
That's insane.
Half.com, the other site I would go to, it was like 30 something. And I was like, and once again, I think that may have been new, but I'm like, I ain't paying $30 for a movie anyways. However, my good buddies at VHS PS, who hook you up with old VHS copies that are bootlegged on there, got me this for $10, and I was like, you know what? That's what I need right there. That's all I need. No special features, just the movie, and I'm happy with that. And then we're also going to do the lead singer of Open Grave, a good friend of ours, Simon Terrell, who's also not here. He wanted us to do the Lords of Salem. And yeah, we actually watched that as well. So, tonight, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and the Lords of Salem. So let's get into it. Now, I always like doing a show like this anyways because I love the clipboard. I don't have to like hunch over. I usually got the shit written out right here.
Yeah, and it makes you feel very important.
Very important. It really does.
If you just have a pen and a clipboard, you're doing shit.
I'm doing shit. It looks like I'm official too, right? This guy knows what's going on. He has a clipboard. So last week I asked the question, your top 3 horror comedies. And we got some replies. Ghostface Kid 101 hit us up. He said number 3, A Haunted House. Just came out this year, Marlon Wayans. And you know what? Agreed. That is fucking hilarious. Have you seen A Haunted House yet?
No, I have not.
Really good.
I kind of got out of watching all the Wayans brothers. I just turned me off after a while.
Now, let me ask you a question. Like, what movie was it that kind of turned you against the Wayans?
White Chicks.
Yeah, it would have done to me too.
Yep, it was over. It was over after that. I didn't even watch it. I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even defend that there. Well, spoof movies though. I feel like they've always done good on spoof movies. I'm gonna Get You Sucker. Don't Be a Menace to Society.
Well, that and they've always had a part with the scary
in the first 2 scary movies. So I feel like, whenever this came out, because it came out around the same time that Scary Movie 5 came out. Maybe there was like a month or 2 difference, but same year it came out. And I just remember everybody's like talking like, well, which one's going to be the big one or whatever. And I'm not even sure which one made more money. I tell you which one I think is going to be better. I didn't see Scary Movie 5 because I thought it looked horrible. This will look funnier. And I really dug it and watched it. And it basically, unlike Scary Movie 5, which was just spoofing shit that happened when it came, whenever those fuckers do those movies, they just like release the movie and they just make references to like the shit that's happened in the last 3 months. That's it.
So I'm guessing that they actually picked on older classic.
Yeah, and there's actually a Blair Witch reference, and I was like, I wasn't expecting it. Like they go down the basement and there's a guy that's standing in the corner and they're like, you? And he's like, oh, hey, what's going on? You know, like, he's taking it down. It's like, that's great. Like, you know, because they did up like, you know, the first two scary movies, they had like Halloween references and shit, and you know, Poltergeist, but then like, you know, 3 and 4 were just like, well, let's do the shit we just did, you know, past month or so, and you can just tell there's a big difference there, and I really like that. But yeah, I recommend a haunted house, really good stuff. His number 2 was Feast, and I have yet to see this movie. This was the movie that they had a contest on like Bravo Channel. Fucking like Wes Craven, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon were all like
familiar.
And it looks like, I mean the premise is basically like these guys like get trapped inside like a diner or some shit, and there's like a beast outside trying to break in. I think Paul Walker's in it for like a short while, and Henry Rollins. I think that's probably it as far as cast goes. But it looks like a good time. I mean, that's what everybody kept saying. This is a bloody, gory good time. So and I'm in for that. And his number 1 was, and I need to see this one too, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That's actually a very, very great movie.
I heard awesome stuff about this. In fact, I remember when it came out, I want to see this. This is the one I want to check out, and I just never got around to seeing it. But yeah, definitely want to check that out. That looks really good. So thank you, Ghostface Kid. I appreciate that. 13 Wolfman hit us up. He said number 3, The Cook, which I have never seen it. I remember seeing the cover at Family Video when I'm walking by, and I read the back of it because it looked interesting. And I guess basically it's about a cook that goes crazy in a comical way, cooks people. Kind of thing. 30 Woman, you know, he gave it big props, so I'll definitely have to check it out. I always try to check out everything this guy says. His number 2, though, I did like, and you're right, it is rarely talked about here on YouTube. The movie's called Brutal Massacre, a comedy. It has, I can never pronounce that dude's last name, David Nottington, the dude from American Werewolf in London, the main guy. It has Brian O'Halloran, Dante from Clerks. It has Gunnar Hansen, the Leatherface from original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And what's about is basically like they're just trying to make a movie. Like this guy is basically on the downswing of his career. Like this guy made like one awesome horror movie back in the day, and then hasn't done shit since then, right? So it's like his last hurrah. Like he pulled one out. So it's like a documentary about these guys trying to make this one epic movie, and everything fucks up. Like there's just so much disaster on the set, and it actually is pretty good. Like I really liked it. Like I don't want to say too much, I don't want anything away, but I definitely recommend Brutal Massacre, a comedy. It's really good stuff. And then his number 1 was Return of the Living Dead, which yes, it took zombies and gave it this comical aspect. From the guy, like the gloopy looking one with the big eyes, like more brain, you know, or all the way up to like, you know, the guy, the zombie on the radio going, send more paramedics. You know, it definitely, I mean, it had this chills and the scares, but it also had a lot of comedy thrown in there as well. So, and finally, Jimmy Maggot hit us up, and he said at number 3, Dead Alive, Peter Jackson, classic. Love that movie. Come on now, Ian.
I guess for the simple fact that it's so over the top, it's good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it was clearly supposed to be, it's part of that what you call splat stick, type of horror comedy. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely loved it. I mean it's just good stuff. Lawnmower. It's almost like a lawnmower in that one. And then of course he said the Re-Animator, number 2. This is where I'm gonna show my poser colors here. I have not seen the Re-Animator yet. Know everything about it. Know the entire thing. I know the entire plot, how it goes, how it ends, all that shit. Just have not seen it. There's a guy on here. His name's the horror movie review guy. Dude's brilliant. Dude, like basically every one of his videos is like a short documentary. I mean, he's brilliant. And he went through the entire movie, and I didn't want to turn away. I'm like, you know what, this guy's really good at what he does. Which is gonna be a problem when I do come across something I want to see. He's gonna spoil it for me. But I'm gonna let him because the guy's just brilliant. But yeah, Re-Animator. Have not seen it yet. Definitely need to see it. And then his number 1 was also Return of the Living Dead. So it's a good movie. I really love it. So thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Now this week, I was thinking, what can the top 3 be in relation to the 2 movies we have? So I came up with, we got the Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. So my question of the week is going to be, my top 3 is going to be top 3 weapons used in horror movies. By the villains, obviously. So, and it don't have to be like a specific one. You don't have to be like the butcher knife that Michael Myers used. You can say butcher knife. I'm cool with that. You're like, it's this old school, it's classic, from Psycho all the way down to how, Michael Myers, whatever you want to say, sure thing. So for me, and mine may come off very cliche, but I'm going to use it anyways. At number 3, I'm going to say Freddy's glove, the razor glove. Just very iconic, and yeah, he can fuck your shit up. That's all there is to it. Like even then, we gotta think about with the exception of him fighting Jason, I guess. For the most part, he's going after little kid, fucking teenagers. They're not gonna fight back, and dude, it's a razor glove. Yes, he has to get close to use, but guess what? He's supernatural also. So it's scary as hell. scraping shit along the way.
Man, I'm trying to think. That's gonna take me a while to think of my favorite weapon because I know there's an obscure one out there somewhere that's probably.
Well, this is gonna be mine right here. Here's my obscure one, I guess. Is my number 2 is the Sentinels or Flying Orbs.
Oh,
or the
Phantasm.
balls from the Phantasm series. I love them. If I had to pick like one of them, I'd say the gold ball from part 2 because they had like the laser fucking thing. And it had like the eyeball come out and look around and shit. It had a little scanner. Awesome. It was great. It blew through like a metal door and shit. Love it.
I guess, could I pick maybe the puppets from Puppet Master? Do I have to pick a certain one?
You know what? I think for the fans, let's say pick your favorite one. Who's your favorite puppet?
What's his name? Pinhead. No. Pinhead's the big guy.
Tunneler.
Tunneler. That has to be my favorite.
Love Tunneler.
Or Six Shooter. That's pretty badass little dude.
Yeah, the little like octopus arm looking dude. Yeah. I guess it would be octopus. Hexapus.
I love puppets, so puppets is a weapon that works.
That works right there. Hell yeah. And my number 1 weapon would be the axe. Something about the axe, I've always been intrigued by because it just seems like it is the most primitive fucking weapon out there. And I mean, you got Jack Nicholson using it in The Shining, of course. Recently, fucking Jason used it in the last Friday 13th when he just fucking hurls it and like hits the dude right in the back. But also there was a serial killer known as the Axeman of New Orleans who's never been found or whatever. And even then, I remember reading that thinking like, oh my god, like that. I don't know. I'm just very intrigued. I'm surprised they haven't made a movie, or if they have a good movie, like not some straight to video bullshit. But like, I would love to see a movie about the Axeman of New Orleans. I think that'd be a really good fucking story. I mean, if you actually ever read the cases on that, the case files on that, it's incredible. It really is. So, all right, you guys.
I think I would have to actually. I'm changing mine also. Driftwood, like just logs and shit.
Logs, all right.
Yeah, like
give me a. Oh,
well,
fucking.
You know what I'm referring to.
I don't say, yeah, there it is.
Actually, it was actually in 2 of his movies, wasn't it? Halloween 2. Or no, Halloween 1.
Yeah, the Michael Myers fucking.
Beat the fuck out of him with, some driftwood and Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, right in the fucking dick, dude. I can still, I watch that scene like 30 times in a row, and it's still affects the same.
It's a natural object.
It really is.
It's just nasty.
Love that. So you got Tunneler, you got the Driftwood. What else? What would be else in your top 3? You better be thinking, Woody. Your top 3 weapons.
Man, it's gonna take me a second.
I'll tell you another one that was on my list. I almost made it was the cube from Hellraiser, the little Mont Square. Configuration.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought that was really cool. Butcher knife would be up there for me. Just for Michael Myers.
I just don't know right now.
We'll come back to you. Yep. What about you, Sweetie? Top 3 horror weapons? No? Nothing? Alright. So I want to know what your guys' top 3 horror weapons will be. Now you guys know there are numerous ways to hit me up. Of course, all my fan friends over on Facebook, hit me up there. You can leave the comment right down below. moviefam7@gmail.com, personal messages, and of course, the video response. So there you go. Alright, well we'll move right along. No news this week, I am sorry. Just hadn't had a chance to check out any news. We do have a movie coming out this weekend though. Insidious, Chapter 2. I am fucking pumped for this. Basically, in this one, after the events of part 1, the family kind of moves to a different house and they're just like happy to get their life restarted. However, there's going to be a family secret within the actual household that's going to haunt them and it's going to kind of follow them there. What is it? We don't know. We haven't seen it yet. But that's the premise of the movie. Alright. Now, I've said this before. I'll just go ahead and repeat myself. That's what I like to do, just repeat myself over and over. Just hundreds of videos of this me saying the same shit over and over. The first one, I remember when the first trailer came out for part 1, I just thought it looked horrible. I thought it looked stupid as shit. I've said it numerous times before. I just cannot get excited for ghost, paranormal fucking movies. I just can't. And yet, when I see them, I love them. But it's like whenever they come out, I'm just like, I don't do it. I've already seen it. We've seen this shit before.
It's the same thing.
Same bullshit over. And then you watch them and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some that just suck balls too. Like, there's some of them I watched and was like, wow, this is a piece of fucking shit. Haunting Connecticut. Fuck that movie.
Oh, no.
I was just not a fan of it. However, Insidious was the same way. I wasn't big on it. And everybody kept bringing me to watch it. Like, check it out, Phantom. And you check it out, Phantom. Finally, it was Your Favorite Twins here on YouTube. That's their name, Your Favorite Twins. And they said, they said, we want you to watch. We request that you review this movie. I'm like, well, I take all requests. So I checked it out and I loved it. I thought it was actually one of the scariest movies I've seen in a while. I mean, I was literally sitting there in my room, like, I have a tiny TV, so I'm up close on it and shit, fucking lights are out, and dude, like, I'm literally jumping the whole thing. I'm really on edge, and
that's always
it really is, and there hadn't been a movie like that in a while, up to that point anyway. That was like that, so I was like, holy shit. So whenever I knew they did a part 2, me and after I watched that one, I saw the trailer for this one, and I felt the same way. I'm like, wow, this just doesn't look anything special to me. Like, this just looks like same regurgitated shit. And yet now I'm even more excited because now I know like this is gonna be just epic. Like now I know that the trailer doesn't look good to me. The movie's gonna be fucking 10 times better, I'm assuming. And James Wan, who did fucking Saw, he did The Conjuring, which was also fucking awesome. And then he also did, I never seen it, but Dead Silence. You're a puppet guy. He did Dead Silence. You ever see that?
I don't think I've seen that one.
And he had the ventriloquist dummy or something like that. Anyways, he's directing this one as well, and he did the first Insidious. So I'm like, this guy definitely knows what he's doing. So I'm fucking pumped. I want to see it. So Insidious Chapter 2. What about you, sweetie? Insidious Chapter 2?
I've already seen the first one.
We will watch that this week. Don't worry about that. We will get you caught up before we go. We're going this weekend to check it out. We're definitely going to check out Insidious Chapter 2.
I'm definitely ready to check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
We will double date it.
We may have to do that. We may have to do that. Have you seen the first one?
I'm going to say no.
Oh,
but I did think of my third weapon.
Oh, let's hear it.
Lawnmower. Yeah. Anyway.
Have you seen Sinister?
Huh?
See Sinister?
I know, same director, producers, right?
Yeah, but have you seen the movie?
No. Dude, I've been slacking.
I'm gonna say lawnmower scene. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say.
All right,
lawnmower scene.
I will check it out just for that.
Oh, it's awesome. So yeah, Insidious Chapter 2 coming out next week. We will definitely have to check that out. We'll talk more about that then. Now, okay, but what about you? Have you seen any horror movies lately? Any new ones, new releases that you've seen?
I don't think so. It's hard for me to remember. You got to say some names and see if I've seen it or not.
What have we seen? We've seen You're Next, The Conjuring, Texas Chainsaw.
The last
Mama.
one?
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah, that's horrible. That was just god awful. Dark Skies. VHS 2, which comes out at the end of the month. I can't wait to rent that.
Really?
I Swear Your Grave 2 comes out also. I think it's already hit the theaters.
You know what movie I would like to see, a little off subject, remade?
No.
The House movies.
Yeah, I've only seen the second one. The House, the Second Story. What it's called. I watched it based on the title. Like, I didn't see the first one, and I was just like, if I ever call the second one, like the sequel, The Second Story, like the second story of the house, fucking clever. I'm like, you know what? I'm watching it. It was alright. It was okay.
I
haven't
seen
seen
the
the
concept
first one.
of it, but if the right person could redo it.
Now, who would you have do it?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, yeah, it would just be, it'd be up his alley. It'd be up his fucking alley. He'd just be
I'm
like,
entirely kidding.
he'd CGI the house and have a big sunset the entire time just right there in your fucking...
Honestly, I hate to say it, but I'd say Steven Spielberg could be a co-producer of that because he could definitely put a good touch on it.
I feel like he would make it too family friendly though.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So you'd want to have like...
A lot of the videography of it, that would help with it, I think, and maybe some of the twisted concepts. But who would make a great co-director for a remake of House?
I mean, if it's me, I'm always going to say like, let's see. If I'm putting a director on House, I would say, if I'm trying to be realistic, that's my favorite. I mean, if my favorite would say Quentin Tarantino. Like, I would say Quentin for everything. But if I'm going legit, like, here's House, who think can do the best job, it'd still be Quentin. But still, I would say...
He's going to say the Coen Brothers.
I would. It'd be great.
It'd be weird, yeah.
It'd be perfect. I'll say... I almost want to say like M. Night Shyamalan or something. There's someone that would also kind of...
I had a heart on it. It just went away. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not a big Shyamalan fan?
Is that really... I mean, if you're going with the same plot with the old movie's House, you couldn't really put a fucked up, retarded twist on it that you know is coming.
Well, granted though, he doesn't always do twists. All right, I'll defend my boy Shyamalan out. There's not always a twist. There's no twist on Signs. Alien showed up and then they get taken out.
Whatever.
Lady in the Water, no twist. Just a straightforward fairy tale.
I did not see that one.
Awesome. Damn good. You didn't like that one, didn't you, sweetie? Lady in the Water? You don't even remember the movie. Oh my god. I got you on camera saying you like it, so that's okay. Yeah, I'd say M. Night, and then Spielberg can produce it to keep him in line. That way he don't, maybe he wants to put a twist on it, and Spielberg may no. Gotta make it family friendly. So. Alright, so we got some comments. Now, Tara Thelen hit us up, and she asked the question, are the corn children my kids? And I'm gonna say fuck no. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Those are, I don't know what oozed from the cornfield they crept from. But yeah, no, I will not take.
It was tainted.
Yeah, it definitely some tainted fucking corn maze or some shit. Yeah, I'm saying no, not my kids at all. But yeah, God help the parents if they ever find them buried in that cornfield. So yeah, no. Answer's no. Shallow Squirrel said, now last week I talked about they're doing a remake to Westworld, and I went on a huge rant about that, but I talked about how they did a sequel called Future World, and how I'd never seen it. And Shallow Squirrel hit me up and said that it is not that good. Very disappointing movie. Really? I figured it would be because I never heard of it. Like, I'm not trying to be like, I know all the movies, but I never heard of Future World. I didn't know it had a sequel. So the fact that I didn't know it had a sequel pretty much told me, like, yeah, odds are it was that bad that it kind of got buried. So... yeah, I still want to see it just so I can say I've seen it, but I saw the trailer and I was very disappointed by the trailer because it was just like, we're going to reopen Westworld, and then we're going to add another world to it, and we're just going to do the same thing, and then of course same thing happens, like the robots come back to life and kill everybody again, so. And this was a message for Misery Black, but she's not here this week, but she was talking about how she was just shocked that like there was people going back, like Ghostface Kid went back to school a few weeks ago. And she's like, I can't believe, he's going back to Slay. Well, 30 people want me to tell her that the school's just started in his area about a week ago, too. So, not just because we live in this redneck community. Everybody else has different, school systems or school schedules or whatnot. So, there's that. So, all right, let's get to some reviews. No, wait, oh yeah, so you guys want to leave any comments, questions? You guys know the routine by this point. Down below, personal messages, moviefamsend@gmail.com, Facebook, or... Video response. So, boom. We'll take hate mail. We love hate mail. We're big fans of the hate mail. We'll take questions. For anybody. Any of the guests will take questions. This guy will take some questions. He'll fill some questions for you all day long. So, alright. We're going back to 1988. A little movie called Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. In which a private detective is trying to locate this missing girl. And that brings him... in the path of this chainsaw worshipping cult. Yes. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. Now, like I said, it was recommended by my good friend, the 13th Wolfman. And thank you, buddy, because this movie was fucking brilliant. I loved every minute of it. It is clearly a comedy. Like, it literally is played for comedy. It has some gore, but even the gore is very unconvincing. Very cheap. Like, the blood didn't look good.
Look watery.
Yeah, very watery blood. But you can tell they weren't going for... they was clearly going for comedy here. The production values had like this 1980s porno production. In fact, even the credits were...
interesting.
And even the credits were very porno credits. The trailers were like porno trailers. Like literally, it was just like the solid blue with the white lettering. And it was like, they actually showed two trailers because they came on, I guess like just from the VHS they had, so they went ahead to show trailers on here.
Like previews for softcore porn.
Well, no, it was like legit movies, but they had like that porno feel. It was just like, this girl, something Banshee, and John Carradine in...
sexual something.
Evil Spawn.
Yeah.
But it was just like... it was clearly shot on video. And I was like, oh... Evil Spawn, which I have not seen yet, I'm looking that up, because that looks fucking awesome. It was just... and the credits had like nudity in it, and gore. And that gore looked better than it did in this one. So anyway, but this one, it reminded me of literally, if you were watching a porno without the porno, it is what it would have. It literally had those kind of production values. Not that I know what porno looks like, sweetie. I've never partook at all, but I've been told from numerous degenerates out there what porno
I definitely don't have a YouPorn app on my phone.
No, not at all. No, so basically, this private detective, though, he was, this girl hires him to look for her daughter, and of course, as he looks for her, at the same time, there's all these murders going on in town, and people are being just chopped up by chainsaws. You realize early on that what these hookers do is these hookers seduce these guys, and then midway during the sex or whatever, fucking hacks them up with chainsaws.
See, I actually didn't get to watch this, but that was there's a movie like that I saw, like one of my first movies ever in the second grade.
Really?
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Check it out. Look at it. And so basically, that so that's the whole thing. So what happens is as he's looking for this girl, his path pretty much leads him into this cult, which is ran by Gunnar Hansen, who was the original Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is dude, yeah. And once again, it's just fucking. I'm gonna jump all over the place here. Just bear with me. It's fucking hilarious. Like the dude has he literally has like he has a voiceover, like like the old school private detective movies from like the 40s and 50s.
Where it's just a dominant voiceover. That's all.
Voiceover, and just like, the dame walked into my office, and I knew right there she was Trouble.
Yeah.
But Trouble's my middle name. I took a shot. I had 6 shots in my pocket, but I took a shot. That kind of talk. It's like that, but it's just fucking hilarious. There's a scene where like, okay, he has a hooker girlfriend that he kind of bangs. Like they don't really come out and say like they're like really serious together, but he bangs her, and then like he's like my mind wanders back to the clues. So I decide I want to figure out the clues. So he's getting up, and of course the girl she's naked, and she's just like, where the fuck you think you're going? And then they start, the sound cuts out, so now they're just arguing. But then you hear his voiceover like, you know what? I told her I want to go. It's a dangerous case. She had tears in her eyes. She didn't want me to go. I said, baby, I love you. But the whole time, they're like yelling at each other, and she's flipping him off. And dude, I'm just like, I'm fucking dying. This is hilarious. There's a scene where he's in a bar, because it's like, his clue is into a bar or whatever. And he's talking to the bartender, and of course, at this point, it's voiceovers. He's like, so I asked the bartender, he's seen this girl, and he showed him a picture, and shakes his head no. He's like, so then I showed him a cutout of a chainsaw I got out of a magazine. He shakes his head no, and he's like, then I showed him a bunny rabbit on the wall. And he does like this little bunny shadow thing, and the guy just kind of looks at him and walks away. And I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, this is just fucking hilarious. I guess that's my kind of humor. Like, I love that kind of just off-the-wall quirkiness, Like, there's a thing where he goes into a bar, when he walks in the bar, like, the whole place stops and looks at him. But you look at the patrons in the bar, there's a kid. There's a kid sitting at the bar, like, his glass in front of him, and then when they go back, he's talking to the guy next to him, like, there's nothing. I'm like, that's fucking funny as shit right there. It just, I found it very hilarious. It was just really funny stuff. Also has Lana Quigley, who was the girl from Return of the Living Dead. She does a lot of B horror movies. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a whole lot of her stuff. I need to really kind of get involved. She actually is a Phantom Hall of Famer. She was inducted last year during the Phantom Awards, so yeah. I definitely need to get on the ball then. I need to put me in a poser and check out the stuff. But yeah, she's great in this movie. I really love her in this movie. But yeah, no, it's just overall just goofy. I'm not gonna lie, horrible acting. Some of the worst acting you will ever see. I'm sure I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure a lot of the cast was softcore porn, if not hardcore pornography. Just from the look at him. Yeah, I mean, just looking at him and just like I love it. Directed by Fred Ray Olin. Now, I've not seen a whole lot of his movies either. What I know about him is, I have a DVD at home called Beast of Yellow Night. It's an old 60s Filipino horror, 70s Filipino horror. But anyways, he was like the guy who did the DVD. So like he did, it was an intro, almost like a Joe Bob Briggs type intro, and he was the guy introducing it. I just remember thinking like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm like, I like this guy. This guy's kind of cool, Later on, I had a documentary. And he also did the special features. He was on the special features, like he did the interviews with like John Ashley was the actor who played in the movie, and that guy passed away since then. But he did like interviews with his wife, and he was just doing like this whole like tribute to John Ashley. Which at the time I didn't know who the hell John Ashley was, and I don't think most people would know because the guy was more like a B movie star. But the fact that he did like this very touching tribute to this guy, I was like, yeah, that's kind of fucking far out, Well, later on there was a documentary I have at home called 100 Years of Horror, hosted by Christopher Lee. And it's very in-depth. It starts at like the beginning of like silent horror, it came out in 96, 97, so all the way up to like Scream, And it touches on almost every single subgenre. Well, he's one of the guys who comes out and talks. I just remember thinking, this guy knows his shit. But then later on, I come across something that talks about how like he's the shittiest director ever, and people just hate this guy. And I'm like, what the? So I look into it, and sure enough, he's a guy who did a lot of like Cinemax movies.
Okay.
He's that kind of guy.
Horror, yeah.
He also did a lot of like straight-to-video, gore, horror, comedy type stuff. Like this is his kind of movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a dirty word. Like you hear all about horror directors. This guy's like they're like fuck that guy. It's people like him that's real. I'm like, dude, I like this guy. Like and he had a little cameo.
I really doubt much direction. It's just we have a storyline.
Exactly.
We're gonna go with
it's just making the quick buck. But yeah, you can tell he's having fun with it. He's not just in it for the money, obviously.
And he's giving other people a chance to act.
Exactly. And just like Gunnar Hansen, I like take a chance. But let's face it, where's the guy really gonna get a job at? People like Fred Ray Olin will hook him up. In fact, I want to check out more of this guy's stuff because I'm sure like this is my kind of stuff right here. Like I feel like this is the kind of shit that I can really get into, and this is the director I can probably end up buying a box set of this shit. Based on this alone and what I've seen of him previously, I really dig the guy. Oh, sorry, sweetie. Hit your halo there. I really dig this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I highly recommend this movie. You need to check it out. If you haven't already seen it, definitely check it out. Now, sweetie, what did you think of it?
I thought cheesy.
You thought it was too cheesy?
Yeah.
Here's her review. Her review, like a lot of stuff we watched together, it was,
It's cheesy.
It's cheesy.
Well, sometimes if it's gonna be horror, if it's cheesy enough, it's good.
It is, and it's
great. But if it's like trying to be serious and kind of cheesy,
that's the thing. Yes, when it's trying to be, you can tell this one was just
Dead, cheesy.
Yeah, and they're going for it. You know, this is the same thing. I mean, you can just tell they were literally like, this is clearly played for laughs. I mean, it really was. Even though, like I said, the dialogue is so generic. I mean, it literally is like you could literally just like, you've never seen like if you've never seen like a crime detective movie, you know the cliches. So it's like, look, just write down what you know. That's what they did. I guess it was like wrote down this generic type stuff, but it worked brilliantly for the movie. Highly recommend this. Thank you, 13th Wolf Man, for introducing the Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers into my life. And one of the best movies I've seen in a while. That's not true. I've seen a lot of good movies lately, but it's definitely up there. Like it is one of the good ones. I mean, it is awesome. Love it. It definitely has your feel of nudity and gore, cheesy gore, but gore nonetheless. So if you're into comedy, nudity, and gore,
awesome.
I recommend this. So yeah. So up next we got. Now it was actually made last year, released this year. The Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's newest opus, if you will. Alright, and basically what it's about is this DJ, played by his wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, receives a record at the station, a gift from the Lords. And of course when she plays it, she unleashes something. Okay, now I don't want to say too much, because this is a brand new movie, and I'm not a spoiler kind of guy. I really feel like you guys should check this one out. I'll spoil, that's my rule, anything past 10 years. I'll spoil, but if it's within that 10-year buffer, I don't mess with it. Okay, you know what? What do you guys review first? I'm sorry, I'm dominating the conversation here. What did you think of Lords of Salem? Yeah. Insightful as always. Sweet.
I can't tell if it's an or it's a
Yeah. What was it? Or in the middle there, so it's like a.
Or like it was in a movie. Like I'm not sure what you're saying.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Lords of Salem. And have you guys been watching the show? And I'm sure the 4 people who actually watch the show have heard me say this a million times. I was looking forward to this movie. I really
appreciate you guys.
We do appreciate, the 4 people out there who are watching. Thank you guys. No, I was honestly looking forward to this movie, and I mean, I do it. Now I'll go ahead and since he's not here, and this ain't me like bad. This is his exact words to me. When Simon watched this movie, he said.
And he was a huge Rob Zombie fan.
He was the guy, like I like Rob or Halloween 2. Is it the greatest? No. He thinks it is. Like he is real. Like he loves him so much. He's just like, yes, Halloween 2 is just as great, And he's the kind of guy we always kind of argue. Like I'm more about Zombie's directing, and he's more about his writing. That's the one thing me and Simon always kind of butt heads about. Not like a violent way. Just how friends do. So when he saw this movie, he was just like, this is one of the most boring pieces of shit I've ever seen. Him and his old lady were in bed watching it. I guess about midway through she gave up, or not even midway through, probably about half hour into. She gives up, starts texting on her phone. Well, she doesn't do that because I guess she's a big Rob Zombie fan too. And then he said, I got through a little bit more, and I was like, fuck it. He turns it off and quits. He ends it. That maybe the reason's not here today. I don't know. Like maybe he left that much of a bad taste in his mouth. I asked him, I said, he goes, it was just too slow. He goes, it was just too slow. And I'm like, I like slow. Now, up until this point, I kept hearing everybody compare this movie to Rosemary's Baby. And his directing style to Roman Polanski's. And I was like, I'm intrigued now. Because is this Zombie doing his art house horror movie? Like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome. So I was excited about that. So when we watched it, I popped it in. And I'll tell you right now, it's not so much Polanski at all. I think the only reason he got the comparison to Rosemary's Baby is the fact that it deals with witches. That's it. That's the only thing. Because it really is more like a Kubrick film. A lot. In fact, this one, honestly, takes a lot from The Shining. And I mean some blatant ripoffs. From like The Shining, it'll just make a black card like boom, Thursday.
Yeah.
And then some scenes, and then boom, Friday.
Oh, really?
In this one. Now, once again, I'm cool with that. I'm not gonna lie, if I was a director, I would be doing that a lot. I'd be like the Quentin Tarantino, where I'd just be ripping off everything, and then hopefully making it cool. I wouldn't be like Tarantino. He thinks it cool, I would make it cool. I'd probably just make it horrible. But yeah, it didn't work. I'm not bashing him for that. I mean, I like that he's doing that. There's even a scene where, she's walking into this, there's a room at the end of the hallway. You see this in a trailer where there's supposed to be someone's at the end of the hallway, and then when she tells the landlord that, they're like, there's no one down there, dear. And she's like, oh shit. She checks it out later on. And the whole time, there's that heartbeat, that dum, dum. And even the music accompanying that is The Shining. Like, it literally is like they just took it from The Shining, you know? What's going to pull that? I will say this honestly, that from the opening of the movie all the way up until the end-ish, like the middle of the third act, I'm on board, and it was brilliant. It was his best directed piece of work to date. I will say that right now. As far as directing goes, this dude is very confident in what he did at this point. He was just like, he was a master of it. He didn't rely on the horror so much. It was basically like horror drama in a way. There were a couple scenes that pop out, some creepiness. But yeah, I mean, for the most part though, I mean, he had this very confident directing style to it. His writing has improved a lot, in my opinion. Now, I know Simon's a big fan of like
dialogue.
Dialogue and story both. I feel like it's just a really good. In fact, this is almost like a love letter to the satanic religion.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. Like, it literally is like a love letter to the Satan worship.
I know. I'm ashamed I haven't seen it. I'm very ashamed.
Don't get me wrong. It was awesome until the third act. Up to that point, I was into it. I was fucking right there. Did you fall asleep during this movie, or was you awake? Did you stay awake? Okay. She falls asleep a lot. I can't remember if she. Okay.
I'm the same way. That's why I have to watch your movies.
Then there's like subtitles and like that. You're like, oh,
yep.
fuck. Devil's backbone.
That was awful.
Loved it. So anyways, no, so I mean, once again, I'm on board with this, and it has an awesome cast. Like Kim Furry's back. I love seeing that guy. Fucking had Dee Wallace, which is a zombie regular. Patricia Quinn from Rocky Horror is in this movie, and I really love seeing her. And I really love her because she kind of plays it drunk in a way. And maybe she is just an alcoholic in her life. I don't know. But she was delivering the dialogue perfectly. Like, she has some long-winded monologues hitting it. So, I mean, maybe it's just the way she was portraying it. But either way, I really loved her in this movie. Of course, Sherry Moon's in this as well. And we all love Sherry Moon. I'm a big Sherry Moon fan.
Have you paid tribute to Karen Black yet on your show?
I have not. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just on Rob Zombie film, Karen Black.
Karen Black.
Rest in peace.
She did a movie called The Pix, I believe.
After
PYX. No. This is back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like a Rosemary's Baby feel too. I loved it. That was awesome.
And she can play pretty. I don't know. She can just really act.
Oh yeah, no, she really can. I mean, very wide range of characters she played. I mean, she did 5 Easy Pieces with Jack Nicholson, which she kind of plays a ditzy, retarded redneck girl kind of thing. I thought she did great in it. I thought she did awesome with that.
Sorry, Lords of Salem. Go ahead.
So Lords of Salem. Once again, up to that point, I really loved it. The cast was great. The direction was perfect. It had Sid Haig and Michael Berryman. I couldn't find them. Was in it too? Well, I couldn't find them. And I don't even remember, their last names were Magnus. Like, each of them was like something Magnus. And I don't know who the fuck they were in the movie. I'm thinking within the witch coven or cult, there's some guys walking around with masks on their head. I think they may have been those guys.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I didn't see no Captain Spaulding or,
Just for a short
Hills Have Eyes looking guy. So I'm John Five also, who did the music for this. And the music was fucking incredible, by the way. The score. And I think people think John Five, you're taking off acting, so he'll be like, rocket. No, he literally does it. Like Trent Reznor. He takes it kind of seriously.
Mood, you can
let mood to it. You know the guitarist Steve Vai, yeah. Steve Vai. He did the score for a comedy called PCU back in the 90s. And that was just straight up thrash. And just, great, like if the guy was hanging out here jamming, I'd be like, this is awesome.
But does it kind of fit with the movie?
Yeah, it's really not. So whenever I hear like a rocker is doing the score, I'm always kind of like, even if I maybe love that guy, if it's like Manson, I'm like, I love Manson.
Manson's done some good scores.
He did Resident Evil, and it was actually damn good. So that's what I'm saying, is I'm always skeptical going in, even if I may love it, I may be swinging on their nuts, but I'm always skeptical, like, are they just going to rock out, like use it basically as a platform to rock out, or they really going to actually move the story along. And John Five is awesome, just like Trent Reznor did for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and just like Manson did for Resident Evil. I mean, John Five is awesome. He actually did it with someone else as he co-did it with somebody, but either way, you can tell. I mean, if you're a big Manson and Zombie, or just a John Five fan in general, you know his riffs. You just know that certain twang he has with it, and there are certain scenes in this you can hear that. And I'm just like, John Five. That's fucking John Five. I remember actually when I first heard Hellboy Deluxe 2, I didn't know John Five did the guitar in there.
Yeah.
And I remember even thinking, like, man, that sounds like a John Five type riff. And then you're like, who's in it? I'm like, holy shit! Like, that's how distinctive he is.
He has such a range. Have you actually listened to his album?
Yeah, his stuff. Yeah.
Very good. And from mellow to metal.
Yeah, I mean, he really is. I mean, he's very talented, and he does great in this one. My problem with this movie comes, and I'm not gonna lie, this sinks it for me. It really did. I'm not gonna say too much. I won't give anything away, because if you guys do watch it, My problem with this movie was that third act. Because I got real slow. I'm getting Once again, it's very slow building. Not a lot of horror. I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys are expecting like a fright fest. You ain't gonna get it here. I mean, it's definitely a tension builder, suspense, atmospheric type, movie. It's building, and it is building. And there are there are a couple of cheesy scenes where like, and once again, this is kind of goes into the satanic mythology though. Is like they got these like creatures that walk around, and you can just tell they're dudes in suits. But at the same time, when you actually put it in context with the actual movie, like if you just saw these scenes by themselves, you'd be laughing like, "Wow, this is just ridiculous." But when you actually watch the story, you're like, "Okay, there's like this little midget thing that shows up, like a little dwarf, a little goat dwarf," and you're like, but instead of you're like, "No, this fits. This is the fucking movie." At the end of this slow building, man, and there's this one scene. I will give this one part away. They go through this door. They're in an apartment building. There's a door. When they open it up, it's this big, grand, like, theater. Massive, cathedral looking. And I'm like, oh my god, it's so beautiful and breathtaking. It's so, and at the same time, ominous and dark. It's a fucking apartment building. She's already been there once, there's nothing in there, but she goes in a second time. And she's like in a different world. And you're like, oh my. And then, after that, it just gets very music video-ish, where it's just random shots. And don't get me wrong, the shots are disturbing and dark, but it just seems like they're just...
Is it actually telling a story or anything?
The best I can think of is maybe at this point our main character has lost her mind. And this is what maybe it's happening to her. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but at the same time, it's very... once again, I was loving the slow build of this movie. And then it gets to this last, 20 minutes, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And it wasn't even like I was like, because the movie, the stuff they were showing, I guess, was like, it's in that satanic tradition, it's very blasphemous and very just, fuck you Christians and fuck you God. And I am too, but at the same time, it just seemed like it didn't really fit the rest of the movie. Like, maybe the message did, but the feel didn't. It just seemed like it was just very, just random shots of just nothing, and just, I don't know, it was very artsy, I will say that. It was shot beautifully, and Rob Zombie has gotten awesome at just shooting. As far as setting up a scene, like I said this in Halloween 2, that last shot of him roving down that mental institution, that long white, and dude, it is a good
But
shot.
also, he could film about anything and put that feel to it, I think.
I agree, and especially after watching this, because once again, this is very...
a regular scene, and it's so...
And that's what this is like. This is really, most movies take place in her apartment, which is just an apartment.
So it's very visually enticing.
But it is. It really is. And once again, I want to think that way. I'm just saying, as far as the story goes, to me personally, the way I felt when I was watching this, I'm just like, zombie. To me, and I'm going to come out and say this right now, I said this before the show, it felt like he was building and building and building, and then he had nowhere to go. Almost like he was just like, fuck, what do I do now? Fuck it, and he starts throwing all these random clips in there. Because it really did just feel like it was just, he almost lost confidence in what he was doing. I'm not saying, Mr. Zombie, if you're watching, that's not, I don't want to offend you, that's just what it felt like to me. Now, once again, it can be taken multiple ways. Maybe, it's just her mind crumbling. After all this shit that's gone down in this movie, she finally did snap. And maybe this is when Rosemary Baby, we was actually watching Rosemary from the outside, looking at her. This could be what's on the inside of what she's seeing, what's happening in her mind. And, I'm not going to say this is a horrible fucking movie. Of all the movies I've seen this year, I've seen 28, 29 new releases. Not just horror, it's all kinds. It ranks almost in the middle for me. Because it was almost an epic 2/3 of a movie. And damn near flawless. Damn near fucking flawless. It was just that last part killed it for me. And, I will watch it again. And who knows, maybe in time, I'll be like, you know what, I see what he's doing. So, the first time
or you can just set it aside and enjoy the rest of the movie.
All right, well, we're done. That's how it ends, and we don't know what happened after she walked through that doorway. And that would have been a better ending, actually. Now, after the end, when it is over and it's boom, credits start hitting. They start showing clips of the town, and those are newspaper clips in a way. And there's a voiceover, and that voiceover kind of ties it together a little bit better. What you did see, and almost in the Kubrick fashion. I told him this too. In Kubrick's 2001, which I was not personally a big fan of. It's this long, epic sci-fi whatever. And at the end, it's just freak out trippiness for the sake of trip out freakiness. And I will say that in Kubrick's face if he was still alive. It felt like that here. It felt like he just had this big, long whatever, and then, whoa, random freakiness. So, but at the end, during the credits, and the little main credits, not the actual scrolling one, but the main, written by Rob Zombie, and then, something. there's a voiceover, like a news report thing, like, you know, kind of tying the events together, and it does kind of tie together, and in that sense, it kind of makes you wonder, like, well, what actually did happen? I mean, you can kind of go either way. Was it all happening? Was it not happening? You know, and I really dig that. I guess I'm kind of spoiling it right now. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. And I do feel like everybody should watch it. Form your own opinion. But I also feel like a lot of people are going to hate it for this reason. One, Rob Zombie's hated. I don't get that. Like, he is just a hated guy in the horror movie community. So people who hate him are not going to hate this movie without watching it. They're like, well, fuck that. It's a Rob Zombie movie. Fuck that. And then, like, his core fans who are used to his Devil's Rejects Halloween style are going to hate it because it's not like that. And I think Simon Terrell's the best example of that. Like, whereas he's a big zombie fan, he feels like, well, he didn't do my kind of movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's just gore is what he likes.
Yeah, he is. He really is. We had this conversation on him before too, actually. But no, I don't know. I feel like I will watch it again at some point. Because I feel like it was really too epic early on for me to be like, oh, this is complete garbage. No, I mean, it does have a lot of good merit to it. I just feel like the ending was what killed it for me. Once again, though, when I watch it again, who knows, maybe my tune will change. And I'll be buying that 7-disc special edition. They didn't even have that. It had 1-disc special edition, and it had like a commentary, and that was it.
Really?
Disappointing. Because Zombie usually packs his shit pretty high.
Yeah.
Like, he literally, his Devil Rejects may be my favorite, because they had like a whole, like, 2-hour documentary called The 30 Days in Hell or something like that. Loved it, and I'm a big special feature guy. So Lords of Salem, I say check it out. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna lie, it does rank pretty low. I did look at my horror movies this year, all the new ones I've seen this year, and I ranked it number 5. That's like 5 out of 9, like true horror, like not like, you know, like what I consider true horror. I know there's a lot like, you know, Dark Skies, that horror. I don't know. It's kind of sci-fi, but I think as far as like a straight up horror goes, it's 5. If I'm combining everything like genre that could be considered horror. It's a little lower. It probably is like, you know, 9 or 10. But yeah, I mean, truthful. That's just how it is right there. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend that. I highly recommend Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I think that's an awesome fucking movie. So I think that's about all I got. So Ian, got anything else?
Not this time, man.
All right, Maya? No. All right. Well, for Ian Hill, Maya, I'm Movie Phantom. Cheney, thank you for letting us use the Chickenhouse again. Fucker, show up next time. That's all I'm saying.
Let's give him a call.
I need to meet this guy. This guy's actually pretty cool. I know you met Teddy a few times.
Yeah, no, you told me about it a lot.
You need to meet Cheney.
Yeah.
I think you guys on the show together. I ain't gonna lie. I'd love to get you guys fucking here.
Right.
That'd be awesome. So yeah.
It's always more the merrier.
Always more the merrier.
Of course.
So yeah, we're out of here, and yeah, we'll catch you next time. I got this long fucking walk now. God, fucking hot shade.
You need
I may need something. I got
a skateboard over there.
Yes, I'm gonna skate all the way there. All right, and we're done.